and the parents will help them. There's no specific there's no specific way they have to spot them while swinging. Some kids are just eager and they let go and they're super hyper, so just making sure they don't let go. That's all they're pretty much there for on that one. Yellow will do swings in a tuck, green will do swings in a straddle, and then red will do forward and backward rolls. I tried to put in a lot of the skills from the skill sheet directly, that way we can get a head start on seeing where everybody's at without trying to drill things and not knowing if kids even have that yet and wasting our time if we don't need to. So we're kind of starting out trying to do more skills and see what we need to do from there. Which way do you want to go? That way? Okay. On the wedge, or the uneven bars, depending on how you're looking at the paper. When they're in big, middle, and waddler, the parents will help them make sure, I'm going to help you because I have to. You'll make sure that their hand is on their wrist or their hand or whatever, on their arm. Anywhere is really fine, because if one hand lets go, they still have a hold of their other hand when they're upside down, and then they'll start to walk their feet up, and then they can hold their back if they really want to, but they don't have to if their kid's strong enough. That's kind of a them decision thing. You can't really step in and tell them that. That's kind of a preference. But if it does seem dangerous, you can step in and be like, hey, let's make sure our hands are on them at all times. But other than that, it's kind of up to them. Then for yellow, they're doing the exact same thing. They'll walk up, and they can walk back down. No need to try and kick over yet. Green will try to kick over, but I don't think they'll get it the first time. They try and come back down. And then red, they'll want to be able to go all the way over. Again, this is the first week. We do have a lot of new kids, so this might not be something that happens as often as you would think on this first couple weeks. Over there! Are you going to the bar or the high bar?
The little one.
Oh, the boats. Over there, those are, but our theme is safari. It'll all be decorated, but it's not right now, so it'll all make more sense later on. All of those bugs do come off, so if somehow, some way you could try and get them to not mess with them. If you need to, I can tape them. If it's really that big of a problem, just let me know. That way they don't fall off. Big and little are gonna do leg lifts, so they'll lay in the middle of the bar. Yep. Yep, so you don't actually have to do leg lifts. Oh, I mean, like, tuck up. But each one of those will be where their toes go. So they'll bring their toes to the one bug, then back down, and then the other bug, and then the other bug. That's pretty much your expectation of what that's going to look like. Yellow is going to do, where are we at? Push-up walks. Their hands are going to go over the bugs. So it doesn't really matter if their hands move first, feet move first, kind of just getting them shifting their weight back and forth all the way across. When they're in green, they're going to try and move their hands and feet at the same time. So 1 foot, 1 hand over each one should be what they're aiming for. And then red, they're also going to do, oh no, I lied. Sorry. Red is doing leg lifts.
Okay.
Big and little and waddler is doing the push-up walk. So you don't have to do leg lifts again. You already did all 3. This one, I will have to help you. This one, when they're on big and little and waddler, I'm not, but they're gonna shimmy sideways on the bar. They're not holding them, but they're kind of just around them, just in case they happen to let go. No need to full-blown spot that one unless, again, the parent feels necessary. Obviously, then let them go ahead and do that. Yellow, you're gonna hold the noodle out in front, and they're gonna kick the noodle while they're hanging there. Hold on. Okay, so you can either do it that way. They might hang there and just want to kick it like several times in a row. Either way is fine. They're just hanging and kicking the noodle somehow, some way. You are standing there holding it. Please do not stand there and hold it like this, because then you can't really see what's going on over there. And if somebody needs to get your attention, we have no way of doing that. Sideways would probably be better, so you can see everything that's going on, except the only problem is now you can't see that. So if there's a different spot you want to put that, please feel free to do so. Whether that be right here, over on that side a little more, so if you stand here, you can look over and see it right there. Whatever you feel to make sure you're seeing everything. When they're in green, they're going to do, where are we going? Oh, there will be a springboard. I haven't decided what one I want to use yet, that's why it's not here. We may be able to use a little bit bigger of one, especially if we put it over there. But they're going to jump off the springboard onto the bar, and they're just going to swing 3 times in a row. That's what's on their skill sheet. There's no exact shape that they're supposed to swing in. Therefore, there isn't one. If you have an expectation, go ahead and set it, but it's just swings on their skill sheet. And then red will do tuck-ups. 3 in a row is on their skill sheet. Obviously, if they cannot do that yet, totally fine. But their knees are to their chest, and it is not a swing. So, that's what those are. Next. Moving on. Oh, on the Bosu ball, for big and little and waddler, they're going So nothing touches the bar, just their feet move. Yellow will be doing the same thing. Green will be doing front support hops, so from the ball to the bar, from the ball to the bar, back up, try and have their arms straight the whole time. And then red will jump to the bar in a front support and then cast and push away and land from the other side. There shouldn't be any spotting on that one, I don't think. That one. Both big little waddler and yellow hold their bodies in a tuck off the ground. Green will hold a pike so their toes are on the bar. And then
Self-explanatory.
and then red, they will hold their body in an actual pike off the ground. So instead of pike at the bar, they're going to try and hold their legs up flat off the ground. About to touch the ground. Ta-da!
Here.
Yeah, right? Yeah, they just hold it. Like that. Okay. I think that's everything for bars. So now we'll move this way.
Any question on bars? Okay.
You're not going to fit through this is what's going to happen. It's okay. Where are we? So over here, these will be all covered in a whole bunch of different things to make it look like they're vines. When they're in big and little and waddler and yellow, they're going to walk. Pick up the hula hoop and crawl through the vines, pretend that that's what's going on. That's what everyone's doing here. It's our safari theme, so I didn't feel the need to make this any harder than it probably already is for everybody trying to crawl through those hula hoops. Yeah. Yellow, big and little and waddler will be doing the cartwheel drill over the beam here. Their hands start on the beam, their feet hop to the other side, and then hop back to the other side. Green will then do levers touching the animal to the beam. Obviously, at some point in time, we need to get their hands and their foot attached, like so. That will not be the case at first, so please make sure you are telling them what they are doing wrong and how to fix it, not just saying your leg is bent or that's not right. They're so little, they have no idea probably what that even means. So trying to tell them what to fix instead of just telling them that's not right will probably be better for you. And then red will be doing leaps over the animal on the beam. If this is too easy, feel free to add more than one. We have more than one animal, but that may be hard enough. So that beam right there, they're going to be walking. It's a bear crawl, but we're going to call it a tiger. So you're going to walk like a tiger on the beam. For big little waddler and yellow. Green will then do inchworm walks on the beam. So hands move and then feet move. And then for red, they'll do pivot turns, just backward. That one? Oh, we're not using that one. It's just a snake beam. I'm going to put that one. That one we're going to use. So that one will be gone away, and that one will take its spot for the next 2 weeks. It will be back, but since we had another beam, I figured we'd get this out of the way. So there, everybody's just walking on the snake forward. That's in big little waddler and yellow. If they want to, they can try and turn around on the end of the beam and come back. They don't have to. They can get down and just keep going. Green will then do walk in a releve, which will be slightly harder. Arms by their ears. Yep. And then red's gonna grapevine across the snake. Heck yeah. Heck no. Yay. Okay, yeah. Next one on the carpet beam. Again, big little waddler and yellow wall. They're gonna jump and they're gonna pretend that they're a bird flying through the air. Yep, that's it for that one. Green will then they'll be flying in one place. So they balance in air best with their wings out to the side. And then they'll balance on the other side. And then red will do, where are we? Carpet beam. Oh, those are gonna do bunny hops in place. You don't have to use the scarves, but if they're having trouble keeping their arms up, you're more than welcome. Okay, now we're all gonna balance like a flamingo in different ways. Same thing, that group. So big little waddler and yellow will balance just like a flamingo. They can pick their favorite foot, just like so. Green will then try and stand on one foot like a flamingo, and then very carefully try and hop and land on the other foot without falling, if they can. And then red will try and just balance in one place like a flamingo with their eyes closed. No switching feet, no nothing fancy. The more movement with their eyes closed, the more dangerous it becomes. So stand super still, eyes closed.
So if we all look over and they're like,
Yeah, and they're just standing there like, oh. I think that's it. Moving
any
on.
questions on that?
What? nothing on these for Big, Little, and Waddler because they have something else. We'll get to here in a sec. When you're there for yellow, they're gonna do donkey kicks at each one. So hands on either side, doesn't really matter. Donkey kick, walk to the next one, donkey kick, so on and so forth. Green will then do cartwheels over each block, so they may either have to spread them out. You can turn them either way over each one, and then red will do kicks to handstand on each cartwheel block, and then come back down. So they'll do 3 each time, if not more, depending on how you do your stations. Where are you going now? The wedge. Down the wedge, you're going to do spotted forward rolls for Big, Little, and Waddler, either with the parent or by yourself. Doesn't matter, again, kind of personal preference. I feel like everybody knows how to spotted forward roll, but we're going to go over it again. So you're kind of big. So this is not. I know, that was. Don't say that to a child. You're a little tall, so we're gonna figure this out. So she's gonna put her hands down on the mat first. She's gonna make sure her head touches her chest. If for whatever reason they cannot figure that out, you will physically hold it there. Not by their head, but by their neck. Because if you hold it by their head and something happens and your hand comes off their head, that could not end well. So can you hold your head? Okay, so then from there, they will just start to roll. Go ahead, and then you'll help push them, and then when they stand up, your hand is now on their back to help them stand up. So if you move your hands around, that's when you kind of lose where they're at, and they kind of just fall. But if you have a hand on them at all times and let it rotate around with them, you'll be able to help push them as they stand up too, if they have a hard time with that. Green will do, when you do these for yellow, you're gonna do maybe 2, 3 with a spot, and then let them try 2, 3 without a spot. So you'll go back, forth, that way you can also move around and see what's going on too. But that way you kind of get a general idea on what to start for their skill sheets. If they have it already, that's awesome to know. If not, you have a general idea. Green will do forward rolls without a spot. If down the wedge starting is too hard, they're more than welcome to start on the floor, like Alyssa did. And then red will do backward rolls, same thing. If starting up on the wedge is too much momentum and it's too easy, you can have them start on the floor. It'll be a little bit harder to get their butt over their head. Where are you going?
That was not a spot backwards. It's like the grand.
Dang it, what? Okay. Right way or wrong way first?
Wrong.
Okay. Yep. Just like, yep. Wrong. Oh, I have another one. Okay, go. And when they start to fall off, you're kind of just like, oh, dang, no, don't let them do that. Don't just, oh, shucks. Okay, so same thing, your hands will end up rotating. So at this point, their head will have to be tucked in. They visibly cannot untuck it unless they are rolling insanely fast, which if they start sitting, that won't be possible.
Have them bite their shirts or their wheels if you need to.
No, they're too little, they're gonna lose teeth.
Oh, okay.
And unless you want to do that, I mean, go for it. Just let Tara know there's a
I
tooth
mean,
missing, but.
they grow back in at the little age. They do,
Yeah.
right? Kendra? Their teeth grow back in when they lose them at the little
Or
age.
we could use an object to hold under here. That way, if it falls out, we don't lose any teeth.
Or should we have a bean bag over here just in case?
I would put one, yes. But yeah. This is 3 teeth at once. Okay, so then it'll be kind of backwards from forward rolls. You're going to start crossed instead of open like we were before. So one hand will be on her back and one hand will be on her shoulders. That way, when they start to go over, you can go, and you can then push them over at the end too. If you start this way, your hands are going to end up tangled, and you're not going to know what to do. So this, when you go backwards, it starts backwards. If you start forwards, it starts forwards. Oh, hey, beanbag. Wait. Thanks. So wait. It's okay. Back, there will be lily pads drawn. So it's like our pond. And then when you are Big, Little, Waddler, and yellow, you're going to do frog jumps on all of the lily pads. However many there are, I have not decided. Green will do tuck jumps on the lily pads, and red will do star jumps on each one. There's no specific order, so just tell them they're jumping front, back, side to side until they either get tired, need a break, or until you say rotate. Moving on. Not that one. On the blue trampoline, some kids, from what I've heard, seen, talked to some of you, still like to blow through the SLP phase. So all we're doing is jumping. Please set a number. Doesn't matter what number it is, based on your class, you can decide. whether it's 3, 5, 10, whatever works, and they need to stop in SLP and hold it for 5 seconds, and then they can keep going. But all they're doing is jumping and figuring out how to stop before we start doing all of this other crazy stuff after this. So
Wait, an SLP?
yeah.
And telling them 5 seconds is not going to work, so tell them
Count
to
to 5 seconds, either count out loud, something. Everybody's doing that there. So that's why I said pick your number. Or if you'd like to, they can do different jumps, totally up to you. But please just focus on them understanding that SLP part. There will be a river. Again, it's not decorated yet, but there will be a river underneath the panel mats. Again, big little wobbler and yellow. We'll do log rolls over the river. Whee, back, forth. Back over the river. Green will do kicks to half handstand over the river. Half handstand is a half, so one leg goes up, one leg stays down. That leg will never touch the other leg. So just start on one purple and then go to the other purple. This one you may have to push in a little closer depending on how comfortable they are kicking up. And then red will do cartwheels over it. So they start 1 foot on the purple, 1 foot on the ground. Hands go, yep, and then both feet land on the line on the other side. If for whatever reason you need to move that, I would highly suggest doing it on a line. That way, if you have a class with cartwheels in it, they're still working on going straight. You don't have to jump in it. Okay. When you're up here, kangaroo jumps, so exactly how it sounds. Hands like a kangaroo, all the way down, and then you jump in the pit. For those first 3, so big little waddler in yellow. Green will do seat drops all the way down, so they're gonna try and go seat drop stand the entire way without any extra jumps. And then jump in the pit, and red will do forward rolls and then jump in the pit. Please have them stand up after each one, that way they do not get insanely dizzy and fall off the side, or just keep rolling into the pit. Now we're at having fun time. Okay, I saw this the other day, and this is only for big and little and waddler, but just in case you sub, so you're aware. I'm gonna send out in the group meet what the actual video is, too, so we can see. This is a lovely demonstration, but the real thing is even better. We're gonna do the wrong way first. What's gonna happen is this is, what are we calling him? Gemma. Oh, okay. He's sitting on her feet. So this would be a parent, that would be their kid. You are not doing this part. They are. You will not be flipping anybody's child over your head. They will be doing that to themselves. Okay, because
You have the bear to show.
this, yeah. We try, no, we're doing that later. We're doing it when we're done. They already tried it, and it does work with average people. So, they're gonna sit on their feet, and their butts will be tucked up right up on their feet, so they'll be able to hold them there. Nothing bad's gonna happen. They're gonna start with their hands on their shoulders, not underneath their armpits. Hands on their shoulders. Okay, again, when you see the actual video, it'll make 10 times more sense. But they're gonna start to roll back onto their back.
Am I doing it wrong then?
No, you're good. Oh yeah, you are. Okay, so they'll rock their feet up once, twice, and then on the 3rd time, this is not what's gonna happen. Okay, or launching them backwards into the wall. Anything aggressive. This is not this is not an aggressive, fast thing. So they'll start on top of her shoulders because they're gonna slide down their sides and onto their hips, and they will flip over. Okay, thanks.
We're hoping to do something like this to make it easier to get parents started getting their kids going upside down. You guys have so many kids that have an aversion going upside down that hopefully trying something like this in a setting like this where it's crazy and busy will get them a little less afraid to the upside.
And while I trust every single one of you to do that, if it does happen with their parent, I feel like they'll be more eager to do it than if you're like flipping them over. So yeah, yeah, we will.